How to use shapes in Photoshop, a basic guide to shapes. Let's just remove that one. All the shapes can be found here. Just go here, rectangle tool, creates a rectangle, ellipse, that creates ellipses, as well as circles by holding the shift key down. Triangle tool, polygon tool, that also creates stars. You have to modify some settings for that. And line tool to create lines, and custom shape tool, probably the most useful one, as it can create zillions of different shapes, all accessible up here. So you can just click here and you can see arrows, various trademark, reg, etc. So you can create those. But they all follow very much the same style. So rectangle tool, and now I'm just going to go up here. And this is the control bar in Photoshop. Control bar, it's got all the settings. Actually, there's also this option as well over here. Once you're starting working with them, you can also modify the various settings here as well. But this is the default setting for the design you're going to create. So shape, and this is a vector design. It's a vector design which can be any size. Vector designs are super sharp and made up of points. They're not like images or pixels, etc. They are their own sort of mathematical construct, which can be modified in numerous ways. So let's just apply it as a shape. And you can see the shape there. And you can also resize it after the event. If you apply it as a pixel layer, you can't do that. But you can do with vectors, you can move it, squeeze it, change it, rotate it, and much, much more. They're very, very flexible. One problem with them is you can't apply brush strokes. If you try and brush, it will not let you. So you can only sort of do various things like transforms, modify the points, etc., but not add anything to the actual surface. However, if you want to change the color, all those things, just go down here. Just go to the tool itself, the rectangle, or any of the other shape tools, or go over here. You've got here appearance, and this is in the properties panel. It's a new feature of Photoshop, a fairly recent feature. If you go up here as well, you can change the fill here. So if I decide, you know what, I want that to be red, I can change it to red. I can change it to green or any other colour as well. You can also add strokes, so you can change the stroke. I'm going to go with blue, and I can set the size. So you can see, create strokes with it, fills, and also you've got stroke options, so you can have dashes, etc. What you can also do is you've got these settings. You can click here and you've got square, fixed size, proportional. That is when you create a new one. So if I now go here and remove that, again, the rectangle tool, click here, and I want a square, just click here. So square, instead of being unconstrained, it will now create only squares. And the other one's the same. With the ellipse tool, it will create a circle. Get rid of that. Go here, you've got fixed size. So if you decide, you know what, I want it to be 1,000 by 1,000, it will be 1,000 by 1,000. Just go there and click here. It can be 500 or 500 or 500 and 200. Doesn't matter. But you always, when it creates it, it will always be the same size with that setting on. You can also proportional, so you can set it, say, 3 to 1. You can set it, say, to 2 to 1 or 2.5 to 1. And it will be, this size is 1 and that is 2. So you can see it's obviously twice as long as it is high. And exactly the same with the others. The ellipse tool, they've all got the same sort of settings along here, fill, stroke, etc. Also same sort of settings, except obviously instead of a square, it's got circle, etc. What you can also do, this is very similar to the shape, but path. There's no fill or stroke with that. And also a few other things obviously vanish, like dashes, etc. However, they are very useful. So if you just create it, hold the shift key down to create a path. A path has no fill or stroke, but you can make selections from it, masks, etc. You can also use it in various filters, such as fire. So if you want to, let's just go click selection. Comes up, make a selection, click OK. And now you've got a selection. And you can then use, say, the gradient tool or brush strokes and apply your design just to that localized area that's created using that shape design. Let's just remove that. And the final one, let's just go up here again to this, maybe use a triangle tool this time. So triangle tool and go with pixels. They've all got the same shape, path and pixels. And this time what happens, it applies it just to the current layer. In this case, the background layer. You could have multiple layers. You could have 3 or 4 layers, which you can create over here, layer, new and layer. So you can create more than one. Or you may have an image that's got multiple layers. But the triangle will be just created to that. And it will use this. So if I change the colour here and make it blue, say, blue, it will be applied. It doesn't use this. There's no stroke involved with this. That is only the fill colour there. That's it. You can also apply with different blending modes, which is probably slightly more complexity. However, there's also nice options here with opacity. So you can set the opacity, reduce that down, and apply it, and then you can see through your design like that. You can also modify it in some cases. Not all the tools have this feature. You can change this, which is the roundness. So you can create a triangle with round corners. However, you'll notice with that tool there selected, if I click the document, it comes up with this create triangle. It's still a pixel layer. It's not creating a vector or anything. Doesn't give that option. Be quite nice if it did, but it doesn't. But you can set the value here. So you can say, oh, I want a triangle that's 600 by 500. Also, I don't want that. I want, say, 20 or equilateral. And I can click OK. And then it creates that for me. So I don't have to apply it using this. It just creates it just by clicking here and setting the value that way. Click cancel there. Let's just go down to this one. Line tool's also quite good as well. So line tool, let's go with line tool. Line tool just creates a line. So you can see there multiple lines and you can see the line. You've got weight there. That's it. 1 pixel. There's not much more functionality there. So if you go up here and you've got shape, you've got the same weight there. But there's not much else. And you can set the colour. You can turn around and say, let's go for red. So it will create a red line. This isn't shape. So it's a vector line that you can then move around and reposition. Whereas you can't do the same with these lines. Once you've applied them as pixel, they're applied to the background layer. That's that. However, let's just go now to the polygon tool. And that creates stars. So you go up here and I'm using shape. So that's a vector design, can be any size. Click here and I'm going to go with 50%. That's the key thing. If you want just a polygon, you set that to 100%. So creates a polygon. You can see there, polygon design, made up of points. That's what a vector design is. However, if you click here and set the star ratio, say to 20%, it will create a star design. And you can still resize that, move it around, and much, much more. However, you'll also notice you've got these little dots here, these points, and you can use a variety of tools to manipulate them. One of the tools, say like here, direct selection tool. Select that. So if you want to, you don't have to go with this basic star. You can select that and you can just drag over like that, and you can drag that out. And you can drag over multiple points as well if you want, and just change those. So you can create infinite amounts of different star designs simply by doing that. You can see the design there. Which nicely leads on to the final one, which is the custom shape tool. So custom shape tool, design, shape, path and pixels. Do exactly the same with it. I'm going to go with shape there, fill colour red, black, and I'm just going to add stroke widths as well so you can actually see it. And you can set any shape, and there's literally thousands and thousands of shapes available, some on Graphic Extras website, my website, but also you can find thousands of different shape files on the web as well. So you might decide, you know what, I want arrows or animals. So you can click there and you've got, say, like a dog. Let's select a dog. Just select one of them. And then drag, and there it is. Very quick dog design. Maybe not the most detailed dog design. However, you can of course apply effects to it. You can always go over here, you've got layers, and you can do the same with rectangles, the circles, etc. You can go down here, layers panel, which you can find in the window menu. Go down the bottom and you've got effects. So click there and you can say, oh, I want bevel and emboss. So you can just add a nice bevel to it. Again, doesn't look particularly realistic as a dog. However, you could maybe go here instead, pattern overlay, maybe select animal, furs, etc. There's loads of different patterns, designs, dirt, rust, maybe that's not going to be much use either. Also other ones there, colour, paper, maybe, etc. So you can create a variety of different dog designs simply by doing that. Click OK. And you can resize that dog. Also, you can go to the edit menu and there's transform. So transform, you can distort the dog so you don't have to keep it in this shape. So you can go say distort. You can just distort it so it's turned into a slightly different shape than before and press return. And that's a basic run through of the shapes in Photoshop, stars, custom shapes and squares. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Really great to hear from you. Any thoughts about shapes, any thoughts about pixels, please again in the comments. Hope you found this interesting. Thank you much.